Welcome to the Mojo Market Report. Here's your hosts, Dave Sturchio and Chris Gueci.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Mojo Market Report right here on a football Super Bowl week Monday. We made it, man. No more speculation. No more like hype.
No, there's like a little more speculation. We have like a full week.
We got 5 days of speculation.
We have 5 more days of speculation. We have not quite made it, but we're there.
We have made it to at least media week. So of course you're going to get some nuggets dropped off on Radio Row and everything like that. So a lot of media happening this week. We're excited to be a part of it here at Mojo. So Dave Sturchio alongside Chris Gueci and of course A5 Anthony behind the glass right here at Chop Studios. We hope you guys had a great weekend. Sorry, partner, that I left you high and dry on Friday.
It was a learning experience. It was nice to get thrown to the wolves. I liked it.
The fact that I was like, hey, man, we could just cancel it. And you're like, I'm going to give it a go. And I was like, that's my guy right there. He's gonna rock
this.
Yeah,
no, I had moments and bouts of self-doubt throughout that morning. It went
Show
up a
was
little
great.
bit late. There was like a power issue. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong.
Nice.
But we're here. We made it, and you got 15 minutes out of the kid.
Yeah, listen.
Right? 13:30 to be exact.
Yeah,
right?
you gotta take your pick your battles. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm right there. I'm not 100, but I'll get there.
But it is playoff time, and Dave's going to suck it up. And
play.
play.
Absolutely. It's Super Bowl week. I'm very pumped about it. But we couldn't even get to Super Bowl week before some NBA news that dropped over the course of the last couple, 24 hours, really. Big trade happening in the NBA. And the only reason why I bring up the NBA is because by next week this time, NBA will be launched in the Mojo Market. We're going to launch it here. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a great time. But the one conversation we were having over the last couple days, or at least the last couple of weeks when we found out about the NBA, was share prices and like who's going to be the top dog, blah, 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 right? So we kind of agreed that Luka was going to be one of the top dudes outside the LeBrons of the world, right? Like Luka was going to be the guy. Does it plummet with this trade?
No,
because Kyrie Irving is the most toxic player in the NBA, and he's traded over to Dallas, and the Dallas Maverick fans, which I have a lot of them because I'm in that Dallas media circle with a lot of my friends over there, and they're all Dallas fans. They're like, this is great. We got our guy. And I'm just like, you realize what he brought to the Nets, right? And that's a whole nothing burger.
I wonder if the Nets played in Texas, they would have had the issues that they had with Kyrie last year. I don't think they would have. Now,
as far as the half schedule thing?
Because of the whole half schedule thing, I think I'm
not even talking about that.
A lot of the more recent things were a little to do with that. I think that there's a little bit of things with the front office that Kyrie doesn't really jive with. But look, I've talked bad about Kyrie for a long time since his Duke days. I'm a UNC fan. But at the end of it all, Kyrie is a very, very good guard. He's arguably the best scoring guard
told there.
Since Allen Iverson. You can make the case that he's the best ball handler in the history of the NBA. There's a bunch of things that Kyrie's bringing to the table. The whole flat earth, not sure about. The whole bad teammate, but good teammate half the time.
That's not going to jive in Texas. I'll tell you that right now.
It's not going to, but I don't know, being the fact that they really didn't give up all that much, being it was a 2029.
I thought it was 27, but if it's
29 first round pick, it could end up being a terrible pick or a terrible
we're talking about
trade. But we're talking
6 years down the line.
That's
so
insane. I think when you're looking at it from a Maverick standpoint right now, like it's clear that Luka needs help in a major way.
I mean, we've seen the stat sheet.
And I don't know that Kyrie's going to come and make noise in the amount of time that they have him for. They're obviously looking to do an extension, a long-term deal, but I don't think Kyrie's going to sign that until the offseason anyway. He's going to enter free agency. It does make them a worse defensive team, the Mavericks, but it's the NBA, and we're looking at defensive numbers.
No defense anyway.
Like the best defense in the league 10 years ago would be like put it this way, there is no defense. I saw a bunch of numbers, and I'm not going to do them justice, but Kyrie going there and them not playing defense, are they going to get 10 more points of offense? If so, it works. I think it's
if you watch the box scores of the Dallas Mavericks games, it was Luka dropping 40 and everybody else in single digits. It was insane. Getting another guy like a Kyrie Irving helps him, but
it's a double-edged sword,
I don't know if you want to do it.
Because if you want to, we're looking at the perspective of, let's just say from this perspective, right? Being that I'm not a Nets fan, I'm also not a Knicks fan, but from the side of it, if you're a New York fan and you have this like Nets versus Knicks thing, you want to bash the Nets because the big three did not work, right? It was a Harden,
scary
KD.
hours.
It didn't work, but that didn't work last year, and they figured that out last year. So it was no longer that big three. So that's gone. But now you're bashing Brooklyn because that didn't work, but did Brooklyn make a good trade? Because I think they may have gotten better defensively, but they're now lacking that number 2 punch.
And Durant's still been out, so it's like they're going to lose some ground here.
It's a tough situation.
I wonder how Durant feels about it.
I think the Nets had no choice but to do it, get rid of Kyrie's situation and move forward. I'm excited to see what Luka's going to do with another premier offensive option with him. We haven't seen that yet. So, yeah, I think Luka's teammate proof. Nothing that anything happens, nobody that goes there is going to make Luka play worse.
I mean, Luka's one of the best in the NBA, so now you're adding another weapon to that team. I'm sure
and you can make the
on the
case
court
he's
they'll get good.
The best in the NBA right now.
Yeah, I mean, again, you look at Luka on the surface, and you're like, there's no way this guy's the best athlete in the NBA. Yeah, he is. Anyway, by any chance, segueing into football, did you get a chance to watch any of the Pro Bowl stuff?
No, I did see the internet though. So I watched the internet and I saw everything I needed to see. From what I've seen on the internet is that or at least read on the internet, I saw everything I needed to see.
So are you not a fan of even the attempt to do this kind of stuff?
I'm definitely a fan. I think it might be a little bit of a reach to do it in between because right now everyone's like kind of like, all right, enough with the football. We got to break. This was like the go enjoy the Sunday with your family, give you a little preview for all the men out there that have neglected their families for the last 3 months.
By the way, you're going to Vegas now.
Yeah, now it's like you get one more week next week of the Super Bowl, but then just let you know, like, men, it's over. And women, it's over on Sundays. You're going to be doing all those apple pickings and whatever the spring version of that is. Enjoy
it is apples, I believe.
In spring?
I don't know.
No, definitely
you're asking the wrong guy. I mean, look, I saw a lot of it. My boy CeeDee Lamb, a couple touchdowns, getting slimy over there. He played great. No. I was excited. I did see a trick play that the AFC tried to run, that they pitched it over to Stephon Diggs, and then Stephon Diggs threw an interception to Trayvon Diggs. So that was fun. Hopefully I'll see that once, again over there. Huntley, I saw a little Huntley action. He threw a touchdown pass to Mark Andrews, so I'm looking at him like, oh, look, Huntley deserves to be there. He didn't deserve to be there, but what?
I think anybody that played at any point in the NFL deserved to be there. Like, it was just like hey, go have fun.
So that's why I'm asking you and I'm not saying, look, they took away the game itself, the hitting aspect of the game, even though nobody gave, who was that, Jalen Ramsey, I believe, laid out Tyreek Hill. He didn't get the memo that it was flag football. But, player safety-wise, they're always preaching on that. Is this stuff going to go away too? Like, I know it's a flag football game, but listen, I've played flag football, you've played flag football. Those injuries can happen in flag football. Yeah. And if anything, they might be playing a little bit more loose and reckless.
Did they play on grass?
They played in Vegas, so whatever Vegas got going on over there.
It might be. But I don't know. But look, it's fun. I think that they should do it in the off-season.
I saw some American Gladiators type stuff.
I think they should wait a little bit and do it a week after the Super Bowl, maybe 2 weeks after the Super Bowl. This way, these guys get a chance to
decompress
a little bit, and so do the fans for that matter. I had zero interest in actually tuning in to watch it because I knew what would happen the way the internet goes. The same way I consume NBA All-Star Weekend, Home Run Derby. I'm not watching
that. That's lost its luster, too.
I'm not sitting there through 2-3 hours of Chris Berman talking. I want to just see the home runs. You know what I mean? And guess what? MLB.com is going to put out a nice little post, and all I'm going to do is swipe to see each player, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I watch things now. Welcome to the new age, Dave.
I mean, you welcomed yourself to the new age, and I feel like you're missing out. Like I said, the game itself was fun.
Wait, I have a question. Did you really thoroughly enjoy it? You sat down and watched like 6 hours. Oh, I'm missing out.
I've been going through it last couple of days. I haven't been able to just sit down and enjoy my weekend. But like I said, I watched a lot of it. I saw what I needed to see. I think it was well done. I think the players responded well to it. Josh Jacobs says the whole thing is stupid.
I think, well, he's not wrong. I think there's only one guy that really wanted to be there and showed that he wanted to be there. Well, oh my God.
He was so angry. Did you see the last? You didn't see the last play, though.
With the way they knelt.
They kneeled, yeah.
So they made a mockery of a mockery.
They basically said, we're going to take a knee.
I think that was Hawaiian Mike's line.
Well, they took a knee to end the game, to run the clock out, and Peyton Manning went absolutely nuts and said, you can't run. Like, the quarterback's not allowed to run. Like, Kirk Cousins or any quarterback is not allowed to run. So that's technically a run play. And he took a knee. He goes ballistic. And, meanwhile, Peyton Manning's going nuts.
Down,
and they're dumping Gatorade on Eli because he just won the game. So, Eli, congratulations, man. Another accomplishment, another feather in your cap.
No, but Derek Carr basically used it as like a free agency audition or trade audition.
His one interview when he's like,
Not only that, like, bro, did you see him in the skills competition?
oh, yeah, lit it up.
He lit it up. And down the stretch, like, he was like, it looked like Mahomes all of a sudden. And he was throwing to Kelsey every single play. It was like, dink, dink, sidearm, dink, dink. I think he threw 2 lefty, Dude. He didn't, but
and then obviously the interviewer asked him, he's like,
not enough.
Yeah, not enough. That's why I'm not gonna be here next year.
Hats off to Derek Carr. I guarantee you, team looked at that and was like, oh,
good guy.
I'll take him on my
Good guy. Bring him on in.
Just not the Jets.
Speaking of quarterbacks, it's finally time to break down some of the NFL's best, meaning Super Bowl quarterbacks coming at you this weekend. It is Patrick Mahomes. It is Jalen Hurts. It is a matchup of 2 1 seeds that these guys have led their team the entire way. Jalen Hurts and Patrick Mahomes both not 100% health-wise. I mean, you think about it, like if Jalen Hurts is still dealing with the shoulder thing, obviously Mahomes' his ankle's still, I don't buy it, but like I think it's still banged up.
I think he is. He looked like he was struggling in the end of that
Couple
game.
times, yeah. But overall, you look at both of these guys, and when it comes to the Mojo Market, both of them obviously are leaps and bounds different in share price because considering Mahomes is already a Super Bowl champion. Jalen Hurts, though, has a chance to really up his stock with the Super Bowl bonus if he gets this job done. When you look at this game on the surface, Chris, and you look at these quarterbacks, just based off the way they've played, based off of their total offense around them, offensive line, everything, who's got the edge going into Sunday?
I mean, based on the weapons around them, I feel like it's pretty even. It's almost lateral. I think Jalen Hurts brings a lot more to the table, obviously running the football when it comes down to actually taking off and running the football. Pat Mahomes is really hard to sack. He's a little less hard to sack now with the ankle injury going on. But I think the reason why I lean a little more towards Mahomes in this one in terms of who's going to be able to put up better numbers, I lean a little more towards Jalen Hurts is because the Chiefs defense leaves a little less to be desired than the Eagles do. The Eagles have one of the better defenses, and I don't want to say this, without. I'm saying this, and I understand that this might be a reach because they haven't actually won anything yet. And to be considered one of the best defenses of all time, you have to win a Super Bowl. But they're playing in it, and they've done things this year getting to the quarterback that have been all-time good. So when you're talking about pressuring the quarterback, I think that's the main thing a defense wants to do. They're arguably the best ever at doing it. Pat Mahomes with the bum ankle, he may have his hands full. I know the Chiefs' offensive line is good, but
and they don't really have we'll get into the running backs tomorrow, but I don't look at the Chiefs' running back situation as anybody who could pick up a block. They're very small in stature.
I mean, Pacheco has been good picking up the blitz, and that's kind of what I think.
I don't think they have to blitz. That's the thing.
That's the thing. They don't. But you still have to chip. You still have to do certain things with Reddick on the outside. The Eagles' front is really good. Like people forget they got Sue mid-season. He's like
and the other one, Linval Joseph,
and they still have Fletcher Cox.
Yeah.
So but getting Sue was just like they had already had a really good rotation, and all of a sudden you throw in that.
Well, it's because they were thin at one point, and they're like, screw it, we're going to go out there and spend some money.
Mean Sue. I don't like Sue.
No, I know you don't like Sue. As a Green Bay guy, you got to
But I know he brings an edge and an attitude to a defensive line that, pretty much you're in the stretch run and you need to add some attitude to that D. And Sue's sitting there. It's like, clearly I'm taking
Comparing the numbers, obviously the yards, not even close. Mahomes absolutely lit the scoreboard up as far as yardage is concerned. I found this interesting. Their completion percentage, Mahomes at a 67.1 and Jalen Hurts at a 66.5. So less than a full percent different in completion percentage. These guys are both effective quarterbacks. Their yards per attempt, 8 to 8.1. You know what I mean? So this is a very, very tight matchup. The touchdowns, again, not comparable. Mahomes, I feel like they don't run the ball. Even though Pacheco had a great career, great year in his rookie season, you look at McKinnon, and half the times that McKinnon was scoring touchdowns, they were
way more than half.
They were catching. Like yeah, exactly. So, so Hurts 22 touchdowns to 6 picks to Mahomes' 41 to 12. The rushing is where it differentiates. See, now Mahomes ran in the playoffs when he absolutely needed to. Obviously, the ankle injury stalled him out from being more effective on the ground. But again, now it's the last game of the season. I fully expect Patrick Mahomes to use his legs when absolutely needed. And I don't even say absolutely needed. Like that one last play against Cincinnati, absolutely needed it, had to have it, right? I don't think that that's a thing this week. I think it's like if it's there, he's taking it this time.
I think that if they're relying on Mahomes' legs to win this game, they're going to be in trouble.
I'm not saying rely on it. I'm saying if it's there,
if it's there, he takes it. It's the Super Bowl, of course. But if that turns out to be the case where Mahomes doesn't really get much of a clean pocket, I think it could be a long night. I like the Eagles in this game. I'm leaning Eagles, I should say, because I haven't actually looked at the metrics. But I mean, we've seen these teams play all season long. It's going to be hard for me to go against the Eagles in any way because they're just so complete. Andy Reid scares me, though.
That is the experience factor here. Andy Reid obviously going against a little bit of a revenge, not for nothing. I don't think it was a
that ship had sailed.
Right. So I think it was time to move on from Andy Reid, and
there was no ill will towards Reid or vice versa.
No, but you know how the people are going to read into this. They're just
surprisingly they had.
They were booing that man out the building. Towards the end of his tenure.
Yeah.
So
that's Philly.
You know that. Yeah, but he is not going to forget that. Obviously,
I don't think Andy Reid cares. I honestly don't. I think. It might be a thing that the players want to use, but if you need extra motivation, like, he used to coach that team. If you're a Chiefs fan or a Chiefs player, the odds are you were like 9 when Andy Reid was coaching that team. So you don't even care. If you want to cape up for your coach, that's all good, but it's a Super Bowl. You don't need any extra motivation. You got Jalen Hurts, you got Miles Sanders, you got those guys on the other side of the field that you got to worry about.
Yeah. So again, I'm looking at the fact that Jalen Hurts has been uber effective on the ground. He also, probably pumped the brakes a little bit with the attempts throughout the course of the last couple of weeks. Now, I understand that they played lesser opponents in regards to their offense. The 49ers defense brought it. You know what I mean? So the fact that he didn't run all over the place was just a kind of a telltale sign that he wasn't really ready to do that.
And the fact that they had, multiple touchdown leads in both games that they were playing,
so they didn't really have to. Right?
Quarterback.
It wasn't necessary at the time. But
I think it's all systems go for Jalen Hurts in this game.
I think so too.
I think
both of these guys are going to go nuts.
They got to worry about. So anything he's going to be dealing with is going to be pain management. Outside of him literally not being able to use whatever appendage is hurting, he's playing and it's a full slate of all his skill set: running, throwing, you name it, blocking. Whatever you got to do is a Super Bowl.
So you're in.
If there is a fumble, jump on it. I don't care if it's in the script.
Not
to jump on it.
Those are the
better
best.
Jump on it.
Those are the absolute best memes that I've seen.
Stephon Diggs when he read the Pro Bowl skills script because he had to put blindfolds on and crouch below the cheerleaders. It was the most cringe thing I've ever seen in my life.
Bad. It was pretty bad. But look. The quarterbacks are obviously the story here. We'll get into the running backs tomorrow. We'll get into the pass catchers Wednesday. Thursday is going to be real exciting because for the first time, we're excited to finally talk about liquid props. And that's something that we definitely want to dive headfirst into. There is a long list of liquid props right now on the Mojo app. You got to check them out. We're going to tell you our favorite on Thursday of which ones we like, which ones we don't like. And obviously Friday we'll preview the game and pick the game itself. But the liquid props thing is very exciting stuff. I actually saw it in action finally, and I was like, this is great. I think that this is going to be very fluid with, liquid. So, got it. Still got it after all that sickness. But I look at the liquid props for the NFL as a way to kind of play on the day-to-day, but liquid props in the NBA, boy, that is going to be some movement.
Yeah, it adds some excitement.
It really does. Because look, we all know what Mojo's about. Mojo's about the long-term career, expectations and what you think these guys are going to do. Liquid props, it gives you that day-to-day trading value.
It gives you that vig bet.
Yeah.
Instead of doing a long term where you gotta risk 500, even though it's not risking 500, you have to displace 500 to win 100 on a day bet on a basically a day trade bet. It allows you to be able to do that without dispersing, funds that you may not have disposable.
For sure. I think it's going to be great. And look, there's a lot more things coming up on the Mojo Market Report. We're going to have some guests lined up. We're going to bring in some experts for the draft season. We also already know that there's been, how many players from the Senior Bowl that were
20.
20 players from the Senior Bowl that were entered into the Mojo Market. So go check those guys out and their prices. I'm telling you right now, it's fast and furious. I've seen some clips already on social media within the Mojo social medias. There's a lot to discuss, and I want to make sure I get this right. It's Travis May. I knew it was Travis. I just didn't know his last name off the top of my head. Travis May is one of the experts, knowing all the every single college player you could possibly think of. This guy has a tape on it. So go follow him over on Twitter. Follow us on social media. Do that. right now on Twitter, over on social media, on the Instagram, on the TikTok. And I don't know why I'm putting the in front of everything, but why not?
My girlfriend makes fun of me because I say the ShopRite, the Home Depot.
Oh, that's very old. That's very
I am
old of
old.
you. I mean, you're not that much
I'm
older
a
than me.
man. I'm 40.
I just, whatever. At Mojo, and of course, mojo.com. Also, join the Discord. You're going to want to do that right now because I'm sure you guys got questions about everything that's about to happen with the liquid props and everything like that. Guys, also, before I forget, these liquid props, right, on Thursday when we talk about them, offense, ready? Defense. There's defensive players with prop bets that are going to be available, that are available right now if you want to dive into it. We will dive into that on Thursday as we wrap up this week. But it's a long week. Let's get there first. Let's see some headlines drop within the radio row and all that stuff. So we appreciate you guys checking us out. And, of course, for supporting the show. Like the video on YouTube, all that good stuff. Take care, everybody. For Dave Sturchio, Chris Gueci, A5, behind the glass over here at Chop Studios in beautiful, very, very cold Matawan, New Jersey. This has been another episode of the Mojo Market Report. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow.
Give you a 1 and a 2 for Higgins.
Higgins on the block.